Come on, Cujo. Come on, boy. Come on, Cujo.
Go after that dog. You don't know that dog.
Don't worry about it, ma'am. Cujo won't hurt him. He likes kids. He's safe.
Don't worry, Mr. Trent. Your boy will be all right.
Bow wow, and welcome to What Makes It Scary, a seasonal podcast unleashing the fear behind your favorite and not so favorite horror movies. I'm your host, Jody Vincent of Clever Girl Effects Studios, and with me, as always, Alex Vincent of Mr. Red Productions.
Woof, growl, etc. I'm a dog.
You a bad dog.
I'm a bad dog. Hey, let's talk about some bad dogs.
Let's talk about some bad dogs today. Yes, we are talking about the infamous Cujo.
What is a more famous dog than Cujo?
Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
Beethoven, another St. Bernard.
Clifford.
Yeah,
also.
Clifford.
Okay, fine. There's a few other famous dogs,
but no, like, think of another, like, scary dog.
Yeah, no. I think it's this and then Scooby-Doo.
You think Scooby-Doo's scary?
Yeah, because he gets into all sorts of mischief.
Okay, but he
with
himself
ghosts,
is not scary.
Ghosts and whatnot. But it's scary by association.
I guess. Hey, remember, you ever seen The Sandlot?
Yes.
That dog is scary in that, too.
Yes.
It's, like, huge.
That's another scary dog. And is he a St. Bernard?
No,
What kind
I
of dog
almost
is
think
that?
he's like a pit bull.
It's been a while since I've seen The Sandlot. This is embarrassing.
Doesn't matter. We're not talking about it today.
Last episode, we watched a Stephen King movie.
Yes.
I'm not...
Don't bring things up from past episodes, but go ahead.
Okay, I forget how angry... I'm not starting the episode that way. Last episode, we talked about a movie that came out in 1983, based on a Stephen King book. Starts with a C. We're doing the same thing again. We're playing the hits.
I know. We're just beating this dead horse.
That's right.
Or this dead dog.
Oh.
I had to say it.
Poor taste. Cujo. This is, I think, one of the most famous ones. When people think about certain properties, they just know that it's like a Stephen King.
Yes, I agree.
Like if you were to talk about Creepshow, I think if people know about it, they might not like associate it with King.
Yeah.
Even Christine, I feel like they might know, oh, that's like a car movie, whatever.
Right.
But Cujo is one of those. This is an iconic Stephen King title.
Yeah, I'd say it's like right up there with like Carrie, another C movie. And it, really.
Yeah. And it's kind of surprising because this isn't really an iconic movie.
No, you're right.
In fact, it's almost extremely forgettable in a lot of ways.
Yes.
I don't hate it. I want to start out by saying that because
Okay.
it might sound like I'm being hard on it.
Okay. I love the book.
Mhm.
I would say it's my second
Really?
favorite King book.
Behind
Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Talk to me about your history with this.
I read it in 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Like right after I'd read Carrie.
Yeah.
But before or kind of during while I was reading it as well, because I've never finished it.
Right.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, it's a story for another time.
I've never finished it, but I read it. I have always loved St. Bernards.
Yeah. What's not to love? They help people out of snowstorms.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
No, I am a 90s child.
Mhm.
Beethoven is my shit.
That's right.
I wanted a St. Bernard for a super, super long time. Of course, my mom's like, do you know how much they slobber and how much they
They are
shed?
extremely jowl heavy, those dogs.
Yeah.
And everything heavy.
But they're so cute.
They are.
And of course, it's like that, like, I love St. Bernards, but also this, like, fear of them, dichotomy that it has. And
Right.
that type of thing. So I was just drawn to it. I
Mhm.
read the book, and it's a good book.
Yeah.
The book was written in 1981.
Mm-hmm.
Movie came out in 1983.
Yeah, a little bit longer of a gap between that and Christine.
Yeah, I'd say so. I am disappointed in this movie. I'll tell you right far out. I mean,
okay.
we just miss out on so much, and I will get into it.
There's one thing that I am missing out on extremely from this book.
And what's that? Can
Well-
I ask you now, or are you going to get into it?
Yeah, well, I'll talk about my history with it. Because, like I've mentioned it time and time again, Huge King fan as a teen. I read a lot of books. I feel like I haven't been tracking this throughout the season, but there's like one little thing in each King book that I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like, I couldn't remember a thing about these books other than like what I know about him, except for like one little thing from each one.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's that a dude jerks off on a bed.
Okay. I thought you were going to tell me that like I hold one thing with me from each King book that scares me, like, like from Misery, the fear of losing limbs and like that type of thing.
Well, that's true too. I'm very scared of a man jerking off on a bed, but
I thought you were going to also tell me that like because Cujo in the book bites off Joe Camber's balls.
Does he now?
Yeah.
Okay, that did not stick with me. I don't remember that.
So
okay.
I thought that's what you're going to tell me. Like, and I'm terrified dogs will do that.
Well, now I wish that I had remembered that. But no, yeah, I read this book. I watched the movie when I was younger. Once again, say it with me, didn't appreciate it the same way that I do now. I don't even remember like what I thought about it. I probably thought it was boring because it's
it is
kind of boring.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed watching it this time for the acting, for one thing.
Eye roll in case anybody couldn't.
They heard it.
Hear it.
They
yeah.
heard it. Okay, well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk.
Let's do it.
Yeah, the movie is directed by Louis Teague, who would go on to direct Cat's Eye 2 years later. Another
Stephen King.
Another King joint. It was written by Don Carlos Dunaway and Barbara Turner, who I don't believe have written anything else that
substantial.
Right, that I would have noted.
Yes, this is a novella by Stephen King.
Yeah.
The story, both stories, book and movie, are both set in Castle Rock, Maine.
That's right, Castle Rock.
So let's pull up our map.
Yep.
Castle Rock being close to the border of that, next state.
The next state, Vermont or something? Connecticut?
Something, whatever it is.
New York?
It's not New York.
Philadelphia?
I believe it's Connecticut.
Okay. Castle Rock, big. It's one of the staples. It's, I think, the second biggest, like, King town.
Yes, because Stand By Me also takes place in Castle Rock.
I believe Under the Dome doesn't take place in Castle Rock, but they mention it sharing a border.
Okay,
with
so it's
Castle Rock.
Must be close to it.
Right, it's right nearby.
All right, so there it is on the map.
Mm-hmm. Of course, they would go on to make a TV series called Castle Rock, which is kind of all about the various King properties
Characters.
kind of combined. Annie Wilkes is like the main character.
But she's in Colorado. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
It's kind of loose. I haven't actually seen it, so I don't know. But
well, it's a TV show, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we haven't watched it, because we watch movies.
Who has time for TV shows?
Dude, not me. I haven't even finished Stranger Things.
Right. You literally didn't watch the only TV show that we've talked about so far this season was a TV miniseries for Salem's Lot, and you stopped watching
I couldn't do it. I could not do it. That was
boring.
torture. Also torture in this movie, the casting. I'll get right down to
Okay, tell
it.
me about the casting, Joe. I'm
going to get so many tweets.
Mm-hmm.
And
from
me. And so many probably hate letters. But I do not like Dee Wallace.
Okay, this is
for this
travesty.
movie.
Okay,
I don't have anything against Dee Wallace. I don't like her in this movie.
All right.
I think and not even like looking at what her actual age is, she looks too old to play Donna Trenton, our lead in this movie.
I think she just has a mature looking face. I don't think she looks old in this movie, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Therefore, she is too old to play the young mom of Tad.
Okay. Yeah.
Played by Danny Pintaruo.
Pintaro. Yeah.
Who plays Tad? Who is also in Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss?
You know who also was in Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss?
Alyssa Milano.
Okay.
Just a fun fact.
Oh, all right, great. I thought that was tied in somehow.
I know. That's the reason I watched it, because for the longest time, I thought that Alyssa Milano and Amy Jo Johnson, the first Pink Power Ranger, were the same person.
Oh.
They're not.
Interesting. Well, you learn something new sometimes. I think Tad, the Danny Pintaro, is a really good actor. I think he sells it really well. For like a kid, for how old he is. Like, he's really believable.
I have no problem with him. Tad is supposed to be like 4.
Okay, and this kid's more like 6 or 7.
This kid's a little bit older, and that's okay.
Sure.
I wouldn't want to traumatize a 4-year-old either with a dog, but
I'm much more happy traumatizing a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And the dog acting is great too.
Oh.
And the dog puppeteering.
Everything.
And the dog costume work, which I was looking so hard for shots of it in the movie. I couldn't see any, but
yeah, I couldn't tell you.
There's
when he is biting Donna's leg, spoilers.
Right.
That's the puppet.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. There is part of the way they made the Cujo character come to life is through various different means, one of which was a person in a dog costume,
suit,
which sounds like the scare. They should make that as the movie.
No, but really,
Man
it looks
in a dog
terrifying.
Costume. It
Go
does.
Google it.
Look up the behind this. Well, I'll put up a picture. There you go.
Yikes!
It's very frightening. So
that's
would be
nightmare.
Scarier than an actual Saint Bernard. Now, Jaws.
Yes.
Let's roll back a couple years. It's 1975, 3. One of those. Jaws came out. Suddenly, there was a huge influx of shark hunting, shark killings. There was like a problem, and the author of the book had to be like, listen, I'm sorry about all this.
Yes.
St. Bernards did not really suffer as much in the
I know. I have that in my notes of how on earth did we get Beethoven in the 90s?
Right.
After how?
Like,
how did we get it?
This is a very well-known movie. I won't say it was like huge. I don't think it was a box office success or whatever, but it's a pretty well.
But, like everyone knows it.
Yeah. I think we just split into stereo there for a second. But yeah, the very well-known movie. But yeah, St. Bernards did not suffer any losses here, which I think is great.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think Beethoven brought it back for everybody to be like, hey, St. Bernards aren't bad.
Because like Rottweilers have a pretty bad rap.
Oh, always.
And I think it's partly the name.
Dobermans.
Yeah.
Pit bulls, unfortunately, there's a lot of breeds that get a bad rap.
Scary looking
for
dogs,
sure. But you can't trust any dog.
That's true, and this movie proves it.
Yeah.
Especially St. Bernards. Now listen,
Stop.
I'm here to talk about how evil they are.
I'll tell you what's evil. This bad bunny that opens this movie.
This bunny with the score to this scene is so jovial and jaunting. It's like the happiest thing, and it's like, this is a Stephen King movie about like a killer dog, and this is how we're opening the movie. It's very strange. But yeah, we see this bunny just bounding along in the woods or out in the field, just a playing, probably named Peter Cottontail for all I know. I don't know. Cute little bunny, but he gets himself chased by a dog. And again, so this is a life or death chase, and this music is just like da 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 da. It's pretty ridiculous.
It's like a pan flute.
It really is.
Yes. So Cujo, the big old good boy, he is a
good boy.
Is running all around trying to get this rabbit. This dog would definitely catch this rabbit. I don't understand why he's not.
Right.
It's literally like going through his feet and stuff.
And how'd they film this?
Well, the rabbit's probably trained and the dog's probably trained.
Okay, but I don't know that you could train a dog to chase after but not kill.
Oh, I'm sure
a rabbit.
you could.
Okay.
I'm sure you could.
I don't trust it.
Anyway, rabbit goes into a hole.
Yeah.
Sharks go into the hole. No, I'm just kidding.
Sharks go into the
hole. Cujo's head goes into the hole.
Cujo's head doesn't come out of the hole.
And not unscarred.
Not at
because
first.
In this hole...
Actually, he does. He does pop out and he's fine, but then he goes back in. He hasn't learned his lesson. It's so sad. It's like you think, oh, he's fine. Maybe I unlocked the version of the movie where everything's fine. But they didn't.
No, as he looks around this big hole, or cave, rather, he sees a bunch of bats.
What is this, Graveyard Shift?
No, it's Cujo.
Oh, I thought I was watching Graveyard Shift.
No, but he starts barking and howling because he wants this rabbit.
Yeah, and the bats don't like that. They're like, shut up, sir.
So this one goes over and bites him on the nose.
This is actually a very sad movie.
I hate it.
Now that we're saying this is a very
everyone's
sad
like, oh my
movie.
gosh, that's a bad dog. No,
he's just sick. Yeah. I do think where rabies is concerned, it's very serious.
Absolutely.
It's awful. I do think like once a person or animal starts exhibiting symptoms,
it's too late.
So it's not like really they could do anything.
Well, that's like a huge thing. Like if you find a bat in your house.
Oh yeah.
You're supposed to like go and like get almost like, well, first of all, if you catch the bat, you're supposed to test the bat for rabies.
Right.
Because if so, you need to start rabies treatment because it might have bitten you and you don't even know.
There was an episode,
That's scary.
There was an episode of MASH where Radar got bit by something, and the whole episode was like, we have to find this thing so that we can test if he's got. Meanwhile, Radar had to get rabies shots, and that was very scary.
I hear those are
just like
terrible. You have to get them like in your stomach.
Yes, in your stomach, and they're really painful. What makes it scary? Rabies.
Yeah. For sure.
So this dog gets bit on the nose, and then he gets out.
And then he gets out. Okay, now we're going to the Trenton household.
Right. So we're going to meet some other characters not named Cujo.
Right. We meet Tad, little boy.
Mm-hmm. Cute little kid.
And he's all right.
He's cute.
He's getting ready to go to bed.
Uh-huh. Yes, this is cute. See, this is what I'm talking about. He does the thing that we all do. We've all done it.
We've all done it.
Some of us much later in life than we'd care to admit.
Some of us last week.
Approach the light switch, turn it off, and then bolt into your bed because you're too scared to
literally
walk across.
Fly
But
and dive bomb onto the bed.
What I love is that he misses it first. Like he goes to switch
and
off
then
the light
slips.
and has a false start, but he misses the light. He didn't turn it off, so he has to go back. So relatable.
Yes. He's scared of something that's in his closet.
Right.
Completely convinced that there's something in his
He's scared
closet.
of monsters, but monsters aren't real.
Says his dad,
Mm-hmm.
Vic Trenton.
Yep, Vic.
This guy is cast well. I really like Vic.
Okay. I think he's cast well, too. I think they're all cast well, but I think he is cast well. Yes, he's a good dad. I think that's his defining character trait, is that he's a good dad. And in fact, part of my issue with this story and this movie is how these characters are very kind of bland and cookie cutter.
Yeah.
They're very generic. Like this is
Dad?
the dad
This
character.
is
This
the
is
mom.
the mom character. Yeah. This is the kid character. This is the affair mechanic character. Like they're just not. They don't have any dimensionality to it, except I guess the mom.
Yes,
because of
she
her whole story, but
is going through a lot. In the book, you definitely get more characterization.
right.
But Tad is so scared that his dad, Vic, and mom, Donna, have to come in and can completely convince him
Right.
that there's nothing, there's no monsters in the closet. You can't fit in there. There's no monsters under the bed. It's too dark down there. Like just all this.
Too dark for monsters. And hey, if you want to not be scared of monsters anymore, you just have to put them
a bunch of shit under your bed.
That's true too. But
like we do.
They give him the monster words.
Yes, Vic writes the monster words and says them every night.
And they're supposed to keep the monsters away.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they put Tad to bed.
Yeah.
And they had closed the closet door because there's no monsters in there.
Right. There's no monsters.
But it unlocks.
But the scene from Halloween 2018 plays where the babysitter comes in and Michael Myers is in the closet.
No.
Spoilers.
But the door unlocks and swings open. So I think Tad then goes and puts a bunch of chairs and a bunch of
yes,
shit
he does
in front
the
of the
barricade
closet.
thing, which is funny.
Yeah.
So there is what else happens?
We find out Vic is a PR, advertising genius type guy. Like that's what he does. He makes up mascots for products, jingles, all this type of stuff. And he has recently been working with a cereal company.
Yes, this is another thing that stuck with me from the book.
Yes.
Was we'll get into it later, but the dye situation in the cereal.
Yes. So his character that he created is the cereal professor. This cereal's chocked up full of vitamins and all this stuff. Takes a big bite.
It's so good for you. Commercials have come so far. Do you remember the 90s?
I do.
Like how explosive and loud the commercials
like sugar
were.
blast.
Whoa, your mind
berries.
is gonna literally blow up.
Your head is gonna turn into a fruit and then explode.
Yes, there will be viscera of your head all over your friends' faces. It's gonna be great.
There's a bird that literally goes crazy for this cereal.
This is like crack cocaine for this bird. Keep him away from this cereal, for the love of God. But
and
this guy's
that rabbit too.
for real. Like he's just trying to have a good time. I don't know what their problem is. This dude's just a school teacher.
He's a professor. He's the serial professor.
Yeah.
Mainly,
He's the serial borer is what he is.
But it's mainly for like parents to trust that these are good cereals to give to your kids.
A mother-approved, kid tested or whatever.
Yes, Kix.
Kix.
And his slogan is nothing wrong here.
Nothing wrong here.
And so we see this commercial playing in the morning, and then it cuts to
oh my God.
a newscast
This
that's
is so
like,
funny.
I wouldn't say that, John.
Actually, a lot's wrong here because
they've made a new cereal called Raspberry Zingers.
Yeah.
And has been making people what they believe to hemorrhage in their bodies and explode out of every orifice blood.
Yeah.
What actually happens, and it never really gets into it in the book,
right,
is that the red dye that they're using for these Raspberry Zingers is what turns everything red.
Yeah.
So you're not vomiting blood, you're just vomiting and it's red.
Right,
but
I agree.
Still would be a very jarring.
And that's a thing that stuck with me a lot was because I think if I remember correctly, the book just kind of cuts away to this kid who just gets sick and then throws up, and it's out of nowhere, and it's like vomiting red, and the kid's like, oh, or the mom's like, he's vomiting blood,
and then it just
and then it cuts back to the main, and it's just so jarring, and it freaked me out.
Yeah, because it's good. It's like setting up like.
This
oh
thing.
My gosh, what's actually happening?
Right. So there's kind of like just these through lines of this movie. It's hard to kind of track like when things happen, but he has to like go and deal with this. He'll end up going later. But...
like the world is kind of imploding in his business, and that's bad. Donna, the person she is getting the table re-varnished or whatever.
Yeah.
Or stripped.
It almost feels like they don't, but it almost feels like they have a live-in carpenter because he's just around all the time.
Yeah. Steve Kemp, neighborhood steed. Stallion?
Okay.
What do they call him?
I don't know. Stud? Okay.
Steed.
Yes. Played by Christopher Stone. Now, Dee Wallace, Christopher Stone. They are returning champions.
Married.
They are Bill Murray. They are married. They're a married couple. We talked about them before.
Yes.
In The Howling.
Yes, I like Dee Wallace in The Howling, just so everybody knows.
Yes, all right.
I do like her.
I like Christopher Stone in The Howling. There.
I also like that, even though his character's super, super weird.
His character, didn't he have an affair with a werewolf?
Yeah, but he wasn't in control.
Okay,
then.
So now you're letting him off the hook.
No, I'm just saying, possession.
Right.
Donna Trenton is not possessed by some werewolf. She is just having an affair with Steve Kemp.
We learn that, she... so this is funny. Her character is having an affair with this guy who the actors are married to each other. So it's okay. I think you're allowed to have an affair with someone if you're
if you're actually married to them.
And you're actually married to that person. Then it's okay. That's my high horse.
I just think they cast like this because they're comfortable with it. Not that there's any
I don't know
scenes.
if they were married at the time. They might have been. I don't know.
I almost think they were. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, don't quote us. But yep, we learn they're having an affair. She is feeling bad about it, but not enough to not do it.
No, she's basically at that point of like, what am I doing?
Right.
I'm married. I have a husband who works very hard. I have a beautiful child.
Yeah.
I have this life that I'm throwing down the toilet.
This is not my beautiful wife. This is not my beautiful car. It's a song. Quote unquote song. So they are doing, but they're, trying to, he finds out about it. And by he, I mean the husband. He like sees her on the street.
You're jumping.
Well, this movie kind of jumps around.
So she's ending it. She's like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Steve's like, no, we're not. I hate the character of Steve Kemp, of course.
Oh, yeah,
because,
he's a bad guy.
He's super possessive, asshole, like almost like rapes her in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah. He like gets very assaulty.
Forces himself on, but she fights back.
It's very uncomfortable.
Which is very like telling of how the rest of the story goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
that's like one of the through lines through this is like he's doing all these things. Meanwhile, there's like two car problems that happen in the movie.
Yeah.
Because we have like the husband's car, which is like this red thing. I don't know. And then
Cadillac. I
yeah,
believe.
it's a Cadillac. Then you have Donna's car, which is a Ford
Pinto.
Ford Pinto, an infamously terrible car.
Which Stephen King drove.
Yes.
Also, with not at the same
Yes.
time as the Plymouth
So
Fury.
Stephen
but
King would know what Ford means, right? Fix or repair daily. You know what I'm saying? Wait, what were you going to say?
found on road dead.
There you go. Found on road dead. So don't get a Ford. I had a Ford for a while. It was a
Shit.
bad car.
Fords are terrible.
The Pinto especially, a famously terrible car, it would literally catch on fire
And explode.
This car does not, but it does break down a lot, which, hey.
Yes. So they're first taking Vic's car out
Yes.
to the Cambers, who live on the outside of town.
Yep.
And it's just Joe Camber, his wife Charity, their son Brett, and their dog, Cujo.
Aw, Cujo, who's still a good dog.
Yes, at this point, he had just gotten bit by the bat.
Yep.
So worlds are kind of colliding right now.
Tad goes to pet him, and so Donna is so she's suspicious.
Dude, it's a big dog, and like I'm not saying that I wouldn't be like,
but I mean,
but I don't know that dog.
Like the dog aside, she's suspicious of anyone and anything that moves in this movie because as soon as they get to the mechanic place, she like sees the mechanic's wife, Charity.
Yes.
Like just washing something outside, and she's just
she's like skinning a chicken.
Oh, okay, that is weird.
Yeah. I believe she's
I made a note about this because it just feels like everything that happens in the movie she like looks at with like this what?
Disdain.
Yeah,
like,
she's like, what's happening around me?
Yeah.
Although I will say the mechanic's house is awful. It's a trash pile. Like it's a pigsty.
That's the neighbor's house.
Well, both, all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they meet Cujo. Cujo is a good dog, but also very big and has this thinner like open wound on his nose.
Yes.
Just like the old man, the old Romanian gentleman.
Yes.
In Thinner.
Yes.
See our worst horror movie. This is episode 4. More on that. But they're like, don't worry, he's fine. Cujo would not.
Yeah, Brett's like, Cujo's
he
a
wouldn't
great
harm
dog.
a fly.
Yeah. And like they spend the afternoon like riding around on the dog and blah, blah, blah.
Giddy up, Cujo.
Then they go home.
Yeah. They're like, okay,
Enough of
cool.
that.
What they set up this family, whatever. We keep cutting back to them and we keep seeing more of what's going on in their lives.
Because Joe Camber, kind of self-sufficient auto mechanic, works out of his own garage and that type of thing.
The American dream.
Basically, like the only worker. But don't believe Charity works at this time. And comes home and he finds this new piece of equipment.
Oh, it's so funny. I love when something is wrapped up, but you can still see what it is.
Yes, I love that too.
Because it's like, you're trying to keep the mystery alive. What could it be? It's obviously like a trailer winch.
It's like
or
a
something
lift
like
or
that.
something.
Yeah. Way too expensive for what they can afford. And he comes in and he's like, damn it, woman. I told you not to be buying me no trailer hitches.
He's like, I don't understand how we can afford this. Take it back, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well.
Guess what?
I won the lottery.
Hey, surprise.
$5,000 in 80s money.
Well, that's a lot of money. It'd probably be like 15
maybe
100,000, 1,500.
1,500.
It's less money now. I don't understand why this plot line is in the movie. Can you explain this to me?
Exactly. I can explain it to you because it makes more goddamn sense in the book.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that later. I have a whole section.
Okay, great.
But yes, let's put a pin in it. It's fucking annoying. It comes out of
nowhere. It doesn't amount to anything. I think it's just to get these two
Charity and Brett out.
Right.
Don't even have them in the movie then.
I feel like there's a good way of getting them out of the movie.
By killing them.
It involves the killer dog that they have in the movie, but hey, they don't want to kill a kid, which we'll talk about. So that happens.
That's the bargain.
Yeah.
I bought you this. Now you're going to give me something. Yeah. I want to take Brett, our son, to go and visit my sister in Connecticut for a week.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, fine, go fuck off. I'm going to go to Boston and
watch dirty movies.
Yes.
I wrote that down because there's a lot of time devoted to the mechanic. What you said his name is Joe? Okay. You say his name is Joe. So his name's Joe. Joe and his friend Gary. You just know everyone, don't you?
I do.
Wow. They're just chumming it up. They're having a grand old time. They're talking about how they're going to watch dirty movies while his wife's away. So much time is spent to these characters that I don't care about.
The time is, or at least I know what scene you're talking about. It's a background noise to look at Cujo, who is clearly getting worse.
Oh, this is a gross looking dog at this point.
Yeah, he's starting to get all crusty and gooey around the eyes and that type of thing. Like, obviously, this dog is not feeling
And
well.
these people, so again, wife and son out of the picture, they're gone.
Well, before they go, Brett wakes up on a foggy morning.
Oh yeah, it's so much fog.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
This is a very iconic scene in the book. Walks outside and hears this growling. And the kid's like, Cujo? And the dog comes closer enough, and you can see that this dog has gone rabid.
Yeah.
And, it's in the book, it says, and this was Cujo's last restraint within himself to not kill Brett.
Oh. Man, that's even sadder.
I know.
This is such a bummer of a story.
It's awful.
All right, I'm going to cheer it up with a joke. All right, so we were watching this movie, and it's super foggy, right? And I wrote this down. I was like, okay, this is a great joke. This is foggier than Daredevil.
I wish I could get it.
There's a character named Foggy.
Oh, okay.
And so it's foggier than. Okay, so anyway, the
job.
dog's evil now, and because Charity says like.
Oh yeah, Brett comes in. He's like, "Mom, Cujo's sick," and she's like, "Don't you fucking say anything to your father."
Shut your mouth about that dog.
And we will call him when we get to Connecticut, and he will take care of Cujo because he loves Cujo too.
And ironically, Cujo ends up taking care of Joe.
Yes.
Full circle.
But before that.
Yeah. We'll circle back to that.
So now, Donna has admitted to Vic that she was having an affair.
Well, because she walks in during the assault scene where they like make a mess in the kitchen.
Right. And Steve Kemp storms out and Vic comes in and just like looks at Donna and is like, tell me yes or no. And I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But she's just like, yes.
Yeah.
And like to the audience, that's supposed to solidify that she admits to everything.
Right.
So now he has to go to headquarters, which is in New York or wherever.
Somewhere else far away. This is annoying to me because they set up, the professor has told everyone it's a good cereal and it's actually bad. And so now he's worried about no one's going to buy any of that cereal or any of the other cereals that are associated with them ever again. In the 80s especially, nobody cared about like brand marketing. Nobody cared about like the synergy of a mega corporation. They weren't like, okay, what other products does this cereal company sell?
You don't know that.
Okay, I don't know that. But I do know that.
I guess, but I would think it's a valid concern. It looks bad for your whole brand.
Right. I'm thinking of like the kids who are like eating the kids
but the kids don't buy the cereal.
But the kids are yes.
The kids do not buy the cereal. Okay. Mom and dad buy the cereal.
But they buy the kids want the cereal.
Yes.
Okay.
Kids would want plutonium if we let them play with it. Like,
can we have plutonium?
No.
Oh man.
So like that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, you're right. It's very much here in my book, but
anyway, Vic has to leave.
Yeah.
He's going for 10 days.
Mm-hmm. A bad time to do that.
Yeah, I would say so. I would be very scared.
You would need to go to marriage counseling at this point and not New York.
I would at least take them with him.
Yeah, why can't they go with him?
I don't know.
Maybe he wants to get away. I don't
Probably.
know. I think it's all just tying in with this. So you have Joe and his family's gone. Joe's there, and you have Donna and Tad, and the man is gone.
Vic
is gone. So that's going on, and then the car breaks down.
Yes, it's been breaking down. Donna calls and's like, this Pinto's like a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, it's a Pinto.
And he's
hanging up now.
Vic just says, well, drive it out to Camber's place. He'll fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So we load up Tad and we head out to the Cambers.
Yep.
Meanwhile, it's the next morning and Joe and Gary are getting ready to go to Boston.
Yes.
And
to watch their dirty movies.
And Gary's like, man, what's that sound? It's growling.
Okay.
And then he sees Cujo creeping out of the fog. He immediately sees Cujo and is like, whoa.
That's a bad dog.
That's a bad dog.
What the hell's wrong with this dog? So Cujo then is like getting aggressive and like starting to bark at and trying to get to the Gary.
Yes.
And he yells, "I don't give a shit" a few times at
Well,
the
because
dog.
that's a thing in the book.
Oh, okay. Is it again? What the
I
hell?
know. Well, because he has this whole thing before, like setting up this character of like, he could get married, but he don't give a shit, and
Oh,
so it's like a callback to the book, but nobody would fucking know that.
okay. So
That's what makes me say, don't even put it in there if you're not going to explain it.
I'd be willing.
Don't do it.
It's been a long, long time since I've read this book, so I'd be willing to bet that most of that stuff is either flashback or like internal monologue stuff.
Yes.
So this might be an extremely faithful adaptation. It's just a lot of the stuff that would hint at what's being said aloud is internal, and that's not externalized in the movie.
Well, I think it's dumb.
Okay.
Either way.
Great. It was very funny for him to just yell,
Exactly.
"I don't
like,
give a shit."
I don't give a shit.
So, okay, you're about to die from a dog, though. And he dies from a dog.
Yes.
Um,
Joe Chambers, right, getting ready, coming to pick up Gary,
yeah.
walks in the house. What the fuck happened?
Wait, Gary's dead. I didn't leave him dead.
Yeah.
That's
Like just
weird.
eviscerated
Oh, yeah.
from the neck.
Very gory.
Yeah. Runs to the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
The acting that this character does is very like
Uh-huh.
jarring because it's such a strong, like mean character. But
Yeah.
for him to be like,
So scared. all
oh
of a
my
sudden.
God.
Yeah.
Like makes you scared.
And
Goes-
he notices the dog's rabid, which
well,
how is
he
this?
goes into the kitchen
Uh-huh.
and then he sees Cujo
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, 'cause-
and he says he's gone rabid,
right. Yeah.
telling the audience that he's got
Yeah.
rabies.
But I know he's very absorbed with his own turmoil and what's going on within his life, but is this the first time he's seen Cujo in a while?
Apparently.
Apparently.
Well, because he's like a drunk.
Yeah.
Gary's a drunk.
Right,
like,
right. They're busy. They got
Yeah.
other stuff going on. They got dirty movies to watch.
Apparently. So
Cujo kills him?
Cujo kills Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, so like Charity's gone with Brett. Joe's dead with Gary. Vic is over in New York.
Donna and Tanner,
Donna and
showing
Tanner
up to the,
are headed to the Chambers.
The Chambers house. So they get there and they're like, all right, here we are. We're ready to get our car fixed. What's that? There's no one here. I guess I'll just get out of the car and go up to the door so that I can't be Cujo. So that I can... Oh, no, a dog.
Yeah, just like Donna hardly gets out of the car.
Yeah, right.
Sees the dog, and it is covered in blood at this point.
Yeah, if it didn't look
Sopping
gross
wet.
before, it sure as hell does now. This is full bad dog mode. I'm just going to say it. This is full bad dog mode. We're going FBDM here. Yes. Perfect.
Yes, so she jumps back into the car.
Yep.
Tad's window was down. The dog, is jumping in his window. She's, reaching over him. Of course, it's the 80s, so you had to roll up
hand
the
crank
window.
windows. Oh, God. Old technology. And then half the movie passes.
Yes, they keep attempting to leave. Cujo is there at every step of the way.
Yeah, they're trapped in this car.
Yeah, he either sits at the front of the car, they can't see him.
Yeah.
He starts attacking the car, tears off the door handles. It's the middle of fucking summer.
Mm-hmm.
Reportedly like 104.
Yeah.
And that's not
brutal
inside
temperatures.
a car. That's outside the car.
Right. And then there's like greenhouse effect.
Yes.
And they don't have any water and they can't leave. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. But
Yeah. And
I wouldn't say it makes for the most gripping cinema.
No, they don't spend enough time like making you feel that way as you do in the book. Like,
Trapped.
yeah, trapped. You
Yeah.
just hot everything you do. Well, and at one point, the phone inside the house starts ringing.
Yeah.
Cujo busts through a window because
Uh-huh.
he's trying to stop the noise.
Well, he's trying to answer the phone.
Yeah,
he
that
hates to let a phone call go.
Right. He's got to get that message.
Well, because I don't know if I'm assuming this is a thing with rabies, but at least in this movie, he's very sensitive to
To sound. Yeah.
Okay, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So any loud noise, they were setting this up earlier with Joe and Gary. They were like making a lot of noise, and he was like looking at them and growling at them, but they
Yeah.
were ignoring him. And now anything sets him off.
So, like, some of the tension in the book is like Donna, like, okay, I can definitely run up to the porch, and if the porch door is unlocked,
Mhm.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, but if it's
But
not,
if it's not, I'm fucked because
Right.
this dog will definitely get me by then because I can't make it back to the car.
Yeah.
So
It's-
that's the whole thing. It's like, is it unlocked? Is it not? Is there a phone? Is there not?
Yeah.
You know,
And
that
this
all
is
that
so
type of
this
thing.
this is so it's awful to think about, to be in this situation, because to sympathize with that like struggle of, do I make this decision which could be the end of me and my son? Like,
or I could just die in front of my son. Yeah. And then what?
right. Or I don't do
anything.
anything and we just die. Yeah. It's unthinkable.
Right. One of my favorite scenes in
Mm-hmm.
the movie is either that first night or possibly the second night.
Mm-hmm.
And Donna was sleeping. She kind of like wakes up and like she turns and looks out the driver's side window, and Cujo is just like staring at her.
Right. Just look. Oh, that's so creepy.
It's terrifying because in the book it describes it as like she can see like Cujo smiling,
Oh.
and it's just the reincarnate of evil.
Yeah.
And just every sin that you have ever done, like staring you back into the face, and just it's very creepy.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else there is with the spinning shot?
Ugh. Okay, leading up to that,
Yeah.
Donna sees that there's a baseball bat like over in the grass by the car. She gets out, doesn't see Cujo, gets on her hands and knees and looks under the car.
Mm-hmm.
And bitch, what if that dog was under that car?
Well,
your face is gone.
How fast can a dog crawl? Is
I
the
don't
thing.
know.
I feel like slower than it can.
I don't
run,
know,
for
but
sure.
anyway, Cujo like
Definitely
sneaks up
scary.
behind her
Yeah.
and bites her
Yes.
in the leg.
Okay. This is a rabid dog.
Yeah.
She got bit by a rabid dog, and I know that the time frame of especially the last half of this movie is very crunched, so like they don't have time to get into it, but they don't address this in any way.
No.
It's just like she got bit by a rabid dog, and it's like, okay, moving on to
Right.
we have
she
to
has
survive.
just this huge chunk taken out of her leg.
Yeah.
She falls back into the car, manages to close it.
Uh-huh.
Tad's screaming.
Yeah.
And that's where you get this like
Yeah, there's the shot, the camera, it's on Tad, it spins around to the front seat, you see Donna, it spins back to Tad, spins back to Donna, back to Tad, back to Donna, and then it keeps going. Nauseating.
And then Vic wakes up.
Yeah, and he's like, I had a worse dream, and then he looks over to Donna and says, you'll never believe what I was dreaming
No,
about.
but Vic does wake up. He's in New York still and just has a feeling, like many Stephen King characters do, that just
tonight's
something
gonna be
is not
a good
right.
night. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And calls home, no answer at
Yeah.
3:00 in the morning. Very strange.
Right.
Immediately is like, something's up.
Something's wrong.
He says to his partner, like, figure it out.
Yep, I gotta go. I don't care about
yeah.
the serial plot line anymore.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. He goes back home, and he suspects.
That's because Steve Kemp then.
Oh.
Do we see this? Yes, he does. He comes into the
Right.
Trenton household and destroys everything.
Right.
We do not see him do
anything
that,
to a bed.
that
Although
act
in
on
the book, he very clearly.
asserts dominance.
That's right. That's right. On the bed.
Much like a dog would.
Much like a dog would, or like a Stephen King bully might shit on a dashboard of a car. They keep cutting the best stuff out of these books. Give the people
Movies.
what they. Yep. Movies. Anyway, so he definitely did that. So he suspects that Vic suspects that
Kemp has kidnapped
them.
Yeah.
Right. So they have the police out looking. They're like, where was the last place they were seen? We don't know.
Where's
were they
her
going?
car?
Where's her car?
Like, if he showed up, like, they would be in his car and her car would be here. Well,
The
why isn't her?
Steve storyline ends here, does it not? He never shows up again?
The police get him, and all he says is, well, yeah, I destroyed the house, but I never saw Tad.
Okay,
No, that's
all right.
and that's it.
Plotline just kind of goes nowhere.
Well, it doesn't need to. Well,
No, I guess not.
Well, Vic's like, okay, well, like, she was going to take her car out to Cambers, so that's probably where it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they, oh my God, this is such an annoying trope. The single solitary cop goes out by himself, does not call for backup at any point, and just goes to the place where they suspect maybe something bad has happened. And he sees the car.
He's like, oh, yeah, there
Okay,
it is.
There it is. I'll get out and just go look.
Yep, goes to like look around the car and sees Donna Trenton and Tad Trenton in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, there's this big old rabid dog.
There's this giant monster attacking him, right?
So he dies.
He tries to do what a lot of cops do, which is tries to shoot a dog. This is a thing.
And fuck it up.
Cops shoot dogs. Look it up. But
all cops shoot dogs.
They do. It's a thing that happens. But he fails and he gets attacked. So there's now a gun, a Chekhov's gun, if you will, lying in the middle of this yard that Donna's eyeing very tempestuously. She's like, "Oh, if I could get my hands on that gun." What does she do instead, though? She picks up the baseball bat because she at this point
it's closer.
Right. At this point, she's just like, I gotta get.
Yeah, because
Tad has gone
is
into
having seizures.
Is he asthmatic or is that just?
No, he's not asthmatic. He's having seizures because he's dehydrated.
Yeah,
and he's dying.
For some reason, I thought there was he doesn't have his inhaler situation. I don't know where I got that from.
Signs.
Oh, sure. But
yeah,
there's okay. Sure.
Yeah.
He does need a drink of water.
Yeah.
And so
she's like, now or never.
Yep. She grabs his bat. She swings at the dog.
Thankfully, we don't see it.
Yeah, we never see any bat hit. Although a bat did. She attacks him with a bat because he got bit by a bat. This is the cleverest move.
Oh my God.
It's genius. No,
she hits Cujo so hard that it breaks the bat.
Turns it into a piercy weapon.
A pokey weapon.
A stabby.
A shank.
Yes, a shank. And then the classic trope that I do love is where the villain jumps upon the victim and gets stabbed upon the bladed weapon.
And dies on her.
Right. Dies.
And when she rolls that dog off, gets Tad out of the car. Well, no, then she picks up the gun. Can't get back into the car because the dog has ripped off the outside.
First of all, she doesn't do the double tap.
Yeah,
you gotta do the double tap.
She literally picks up the gun, points it at the dog, and then is just like, "Fuck it."
It's like she's never seen Scream
or Zombieland
watch Zombieland, Donna. Jesus.
What the fuck, Donna?
Get your priorities in order.
She breaks the back window of the car
I know,
with the gun.
Yes, but not with the gun in the sense that you should.
Because your kid's in the car.
I understand that, but I do love how much it hurts her to do. Like when she breaks it, she's like, because that would really, really hurt.
Yeah.
To break a window.
Yeah. Gets her kid, runs him to the house. It's obviously unlocked. Even the window's broken, so she could get in.
Mm-hmm.
Gets in, throws him on the table, gives him water, gives him mouth to mouth. He does kind of choke alive.
This is not canon.
Okay, we'll get there.
Okay, but it's not canon.
And then at that point,
Randy Meeks shows up and he says, "Boo! I'm Cujo now." Because Cujo bursts through the door,
busts through another window.
Yeah,
and Donna slow motion turns and shoots the dog.
Yeah, again off screen. We don't see this happen. Thank God.
And just at that time, Vic is driving in the driveway.
Well, because earlier they find out that they're like, okay, so Steve,
who?
the other guy, the affair man, Steve. Has revealed that he doesn't know it, and so he's like, wait, he doesn't have them, and then where are they? At the same time, the other cop never called back in, and they're like, he didn't call in, and you didn't send anybody else out there? What the hell? I'll do it myself. So he takes the law into his own hands, and he goes out there.
So he gets there just at the time that they killed Cujo. Donna carries him out, Tad in his arms. End of story.
Well, end of story. It's a freeze frame ending. This might be the worst way to end this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's literally they reunite. Although actually, I think it's perfect because we're going to talk about. Let's move on. Because I'm going to say what makes it scary and the themes and everything.
Okay, so that's the end of the movie.
That's the end of the movie.
That's the end of Cujo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get into all the shit we missed.
Oh, please do.
That I think is
You literally have a section called Things We Missed.
Things We Missed.
Awesome.
Because this movie doesn't fucking do this book justice.
All right. This novella.
We miss absolutely everything about Brett and Charity and their relationship to Joe. Joe's very abusive. And Charity constantly thinks about leaving Joe. And, not like she goes to visit her sister and all that stuff. And then they finally find out that Joe's dead.
Oh.
Well, they get his life insurance money because he died.
What the hell? This is all happening while Cujo is attacking?
No. This happens afterwards. But like you're just missing out on this. And so then they're able to like survive on their own because of his life insurance. And then she starts working. And then one day Brett brings home a new dog. Like that's the end of the book.
What?
Is Brett bringing home a new dog.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So you just like miss out on all that stuff that happens with them.
Okay.
There's that. We miss the cereal professor redemption because they do come up with the slogan of just like, almost like Mr. Mom, just like throwing it out there, like the tuna fish commercial.
Right.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up Mr. Mom.
Go watch Mr. Mom.
It's just like, we messed up and, things, I guess we're wrong here, but we're going to do everything we can to make it right for you.
I thought you were going to reference the Taco Bell breakfast commercial with Pete Davidson, where he's like, listen, we screwed up. We were trying to offer all these weird breakfast foods, but we only needed the simple things.
Oh.
So I'm making an apology video.
Well, kind of like that.
All right.
We miss like Steve Kemp. In the book, he leaves a letter for Vic that basically says, like, what do you think the mole above Donna's pubic hair looks like? So it's like a
intimacy thing.
Yeah, it's like well, of course she's having an affair because how would anyone know that she has a mole there or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
So we miss that whole thing. We miss. Oh, this is so annoying. We miss the serial killer in the closet.
Whoa.
Like this whole thing that happens. Like,
I remember so little about this book.
Yeah. So like there was the serial killer. I could not tell you its name. This guy who killed a bunch of women in Castle Rock and yada, yada, yada. Okay. Well, like his spirit does haunt Tad.
What?
Like that's the monster that's in the closet.
What?
And it like whispers to Tad and is like, every night I'm going to get closer and closer. And one day I'm going to eat you.
Okay. This is Stephen King AF.
Yes, very,
sure.
very much. So then, it's glowing eyes and all that type of stuff. So when Tad sees Cujo, he says like, that's the monster from my closet.
Oh, okay. Because that, to me, I think that was a parallel that was never like really picked up on.
Right.
It was like he's scared of monsters in his closet. He's attacked by an actual monster.
Right.
But
like,
it doesn't tie in.
Yeah, it just never. Yeah, because there's an actual like spirit that's like haunting Tad.
Okay.
Donna's processing thoughts, like her growth through everything, and surprise, surprise, the ending is completely different in the book.
Right.
Basically, she kills the dog, runs up to see if the door's unlocked. By that time, Vic's there. He gets Tad out of the car.
Right.
Puts him on the ground and looks at Donna and said, "How long has he been dead?"
Ooh.
And she's like, "I don't like. He's not dead. He's heat exhaustion or whatever, whatever."
Right.
So she's doing CPR and all that type of stuff for like ever. They finally pry her off of Tad. And, she's finally getting it like, my son's dead.
Yikes.
My son died because of this monster. So then she goes over and beats the living shit out of Cujo's carcass with a baseball bat.
Like you do.
Yeah. And so, like, it's a much more jarring ending.
Yeah, for
Your
sure.
4-year-old son dies. You're then in the hospital for months.
Right.
Luckily, your husband stayed with you through all of it, brings you home, and like, what do you do?
I don't know.
Much more better ending than just like
freeze
frame.
Well, here's what I think, because let's talk about the themology of this movie.
Okay.
Because you have this marriage, and it's struggling. It's kind of, they're having their problems in their marriage, and then they have a problem that's destroying the family.
Steve Kemp. No.
The dog is the affair.
Yes. Okay. Sure.
And so once the dog is destroyed and the family's back together, that's the end of the story. So like, why even go on? Like,
I guess.
they're back together. Okay, cut. We're done. We're absolutely done. As soon as they're back together, the very second they connect to each other again, we're like, we don't need anything else. We're out. Credits.
Yeah.
I don't love the freeze frame ending, but I do think that's it. That's all I can justify it as.
I guess. I mean, I know it was the 80s and like a feel good ending is what we had.
I do think for the movie to work, the kid needs to survive.
No.
Okay. No.
No, it makes me very, very mad because
wow, really?
Because like that, I mean,
that's just what the book is.
Well, that's just what the story is.
The story that was made up.
We're not getting into that.
Okay, all right.
Are there reoccurring themes that you would like to talk about?
Yes, of course. So we have a thing more evil than it actually at first appears. You have this thing that should just like attack whatever's nearby and is like a problem for it, but for some reason it's focused on these people. Like it should run off or whatever, but it doesn't.
Right.
It should go after more bunnies, for example, although don't. But it doesn't. So you have what we talked about with Christine with the what if thing but evil, in this case a dog. You have the isolation angle. You have the thing that's like
Misery.
like The Shining.
Yes.
You're
all alone in this hot
like
car.
Gerald's
There's
game, right?
Nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's people versus the elements, and it's a struggle with this thing that's keeping you in one place, so you can't escape. And I think that's kind of it. You have like the kid that's struggling with something supernatural, and it's metaphorical of growing up and everything like that. You have the thing that is evil symbolizing something else. I do think that there is something to like it representing the marriage problems that they're having.
For sure.
And all like basically any Stephen King monster is that. Like it's something else disguised as whatever.
Stephen King says himself that he can't remember writing Cujo.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This was
during that time.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it sucks because like this is a really good book, and I wish I could like remember how I got it.
I'd love to hear the story of how he figured that out. He's sitting here reading this book being like, this is a good book. Who wrote this? Whoa, I wrote this.
No, but just like, he's just like, man, I've wrote so many stories, and he's like, I just like can't remember writing Cujo.
Yeah, I remember Carrie, Pet Sematary, The Shining.
Yeah.
After that, it's kind of, I don't know.
So I think that's an interesting piece of trivia.
For sure. Yep. What makes it scary? Evil dog trying to kill you. I mean,
dog attacks. Dog bites are the most common animal related injury.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. I mean, they are beasts. I know
they are derived from wolves,
right?
And we as humans have domesticated them, but that don't mean shit.
Right? They're still animals.
Right? They think they can control dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Like it's the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing. Yeah.
You can't. You even talked to Dee Wallace. She had to go through so much therapy because these are actual dogs that were like jumping at her, jumping on her a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And
right. And like we said, terrifying. Rabies is no joke. Like it's a really terrifying thing.
Yeah.
And
and painful and
it's awful. And so just the idea of like a family pet having to go through this, it sucks. It's a real bummer. We talked a lot about Pet Sematary about all this. We won't get too into it, but it sucks, especially to have something that's supposed to be this a family member, like another member of the family, like turn on you and be like, I'm now the big scary thing. And a Saint Bernard is a big dog.
Yes.
Like for any dog to become evil and attack, Saint Bernard, not my first pick.
They big dogs.
Yeah, they're a big dog. So a lot of scary stuff.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it's pretty surface level, being trapped.
Right. A mother's protection.
Yeah.
Not being enough.
Right.
Like that's terrifying that you're not able to protect your child safe, or keep them alive. Like if you're looking at the book, like a child dying in a car.
Oh.
Unfortunately, lots of children die in cars.
It does happen a lot, yeah. We talked about cars are scary. Oh, you know what I didn't mention? I have this in my notes. So the car is a Ford, and it's missing. The R is missing in Ford.
Fod.
Now, if you flash back to our Christine episode, The caterpillar
Oh my God.
was missing an R. Caterpillar.
What does that have to do with anything?
Symbolic.
The R's.
Repeated King themes. The missing R's on a
Those
car.
are just movies.
Well, listen.
And a caterpillar's not a car. It's a
I mean,
bulldozer.
Coincidence, Jody? No, thank you. No, wham, bam, no, thank you, ma'am, is what I say.
That's it. We
All right.
beat this dead dog.
Oh, God. Stop saying that.
That's Cujo.
This was fun.
I hope one day they remake it and do it justice.
I would be very interested to see a remake of a Cujo.
Like, this movie was what, like an hour and a half?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Push it to 2 hours. Give us all that juxtaposition.
Sure.
And all that background story. Give
Yeah.
us the letter. Give us the affair. Give us the serial killer in the closet. Give it to us.
Let us see the kids vomiting blood.
Yes. My gosh. Why do you not have that?
Yeah.
Why do you not have that scene in your
Probably 'cause
movie?
it'd be too gory for the 80s.
Oh.
Show us a man jerking off on a bed. We are here for it.
That I could do without.
We're people. We have needs.
But like, how jarring would that be? Yeah, to see the vomiting of blood.
That'd be very scary.
Yeah. So get out there, people, and start making this movie.
All right, you get to
It's
work.
on you.
Meanwhile, we're gonna get to work. Our next episode. So we've watched the 83 C movies. I'm not done with C movies.
No, we are not done. We
Not
got
by a
one
long
more.
shot. Okay, well, by a short shot actually. But yeah, we're moving forward. Finally, we're moving out of 83, moving at 85, I believe.
Yes, tune in next week. We are talking about Creep Show.
Yes, not really based on a book. So this will be interesting.
I
Our
didn't have to
first
do
one.
any reading for this movie.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So for once, you're going to not hear me say, well, in the book.
In the book.
So yes, if you want to tweet at me your favorite short story that's in Creep Show, you can do so at Clever Girl, the letter F and the letter X.
Yep. If you want to tweet at me what your scariest dog is, for me, it's
Yes.
probably the Greyhound. I'm at Mr.
Not the Sputnik
The
dog.
Sputnik's an ugly looking dog, but the Greyhound is creepy.
Imagine if it was vicious though.
A Greyhound or a Sputnik?
No, Sputnik.
Either way, I don't like it. Mr. spelled out the long way, Red Plays, at Mr. Red Plays.
Or you can tweet right at the show at Makes It Scary.
Do it.
There are 3 things I don't like. Twins. What was the other one?
I don't remember.
It was just so funny. You're like twins and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And greyhounds.
All right. Well, go back and figure out what that was.
Later.